Welcome back, everyone, to another episode on the Project Nodenium server. Today, I'm starting out by the shops in the shopping district, which I have just finished getting restocked, and we are probably not going to be spending much time over here because I want to spend most of today working on a project in my base. In the last Project Nodenium episode, we built these two towers, and I really like how they turned out, and there are some design elements in them that we are going to be carrying forward in the future projects that we're going to be doing. But there were two parts that we left unfinished, and we are going to start off today's episode by getting those completed. And then once those are finished, we are going to start on the main project for today, which is going to be the build that is going to go right here. But as you can tell from that outline, this build is going to be fairly large. In fact, it's going to be a little over 88,000 blocks, and that is just the exterior of the build. And I have spent several days getting this build designed, and I am so excited with how it turned out. I can't wait to get started with the building. But before we can do that, we need to get the area around these towers cleaned up. Wait, what is this arrow doing right here? I feel like somebody was trying to trap me. Oh, I'm gonna have to watch out for that. We need to get a few things together to fix up the area around the tower. For the road, we probably should get some cobbled deep slate and some basalt. We should also grab some leaves. Let's see. I think mangrove leaves are going to be good. Oak leaves should be good. Jungle leaves will be good, but not spruce. Let's see, what else should we grab as far as plants go? We should probably get some flowering azaleas, some regular azaleas. Let's get some of the grass. I have no flowers. Why don't I have any flowers? So we are definitely going to need to go out and get some flowers, but before we can do that, we should also get some green terracotta. That'll be good. We also are going to need some quartz. Where is my quartz? This is some smooth quartz here. That'll be good. And some slab. Oh, and I should probably grab some polished tuff as well. Now let's see if we can go out and get some flowers. And hopefully not get too much damage from the arrow up here. Oh, made it out without any damage. That's because I am a pro. Oh, right. Well, moving on, let's get a bunch of these flowers, and these ones too. Some yellow flowers might be nice, and maybe some purple ones too. Now that we have everything together, we can start working on getting this area all fixed up. And what I'm thinking that we are going to do is continue what we did down here, and I've already built up this side as well, so that way we can kind of see what we are going to be doing along the edges of the road. So we are going to start right here with putting in some bone blocks. We're going to mix in some quartz pillars as well as some quartz bricks, and then finishing it up with a little bit of smooth quartz up at the top. And then for the corner towers, what we are going to be doing is putting in diorite walls and alternating rows all the way to the top. But other than the corners, the rest of the tower is pretty much the same as this wall. It's going to be a mix of quartz pillars, quartz bricks, and smooth quartz. So I've gone through and added in the rest of the walls, and then over here for these little platforms, I have some green terracotta just to break it up and make it not all completely white. There is one more thing that we need to do up here at the base of the tower, and that's going through here and replacing this dirt with the polished tuff. But now that these are all finished, it's time to get the flowers. So maybe along this back wall, we'll do an alternating pattern of rose bushes and peonies. Let's see. So we do a rose bush there, peony there, rose bush, peony, rose bush, and peony. All right, we're going to need to add some more here. So what if we go through and add in some oak leaves? Maybe mix in a little bit of some jungle leaves too. There we go. I think this is looking better. And then let's finish up this row by adding in some tulips. I think that adds a nice bit of color to this area. Let's get the rest planted. Now that the flowers are planted and the walls are built, this road is looking very grand as it leads the way up from the harbor into where our main base is going to go. But speaking of the main base, it's time to get started with that project, and we have a ton of work to get done if we want to finish this project in today's episode. Or I should say finish the exterior, because we are definitely not going to be able to get the interior done today. So I think the first thing that we need to do is clear out all of the trees in this area so that we have enough space to be able to get the build started. Now that we have all of the trees and the bushes cleared out, we can start to see what we need to do to make sure that this is a level surface to be able to build on. So I think this part in the back is going to have to be lowered. This area in the corner right here needs to be lowered a little bit. And then along the front, we also need to raise up the terrain a few layers. So I've got the beacon set up right over there. And what we need to do is dig out this area right here, because the build is going to come up to about this line. And then once this is dug out, we can't just have a cliff here. So we are going to need to take this terrain back. And I think what I'll do is bring it back to about here where this tree is. and then we'll just start to lower it down so that it's at the right level for the rest of the build. I've gone through and leveled out the areas in the back, and now it's time to do the front. And what we are going to do is put in a little bit of a platform around, probably coming out to about this area right here. And then once this is all laid out across the front of it, we can start leveling it down to mix it in with the rest of the terrain. So I finished getting all of the lines laid out for the different layers, and you can see how it gently slopes up to this level right here. Now we just need to fill them all in. And that's easy to say, but takes a long time to do. I think before we get too far in covering up this area, we need to get some torches placed. Otherwise, we are going to have an unintentional mob farm, which would not be good. And look at these guys. Oh, creeper, no. Okay. All right, it's fine. All fine. Shoot. There we go. Got him. Nope. No. Oh, there's a lot of creepers. There are a lot of creepers. Get out of here. Get out of here. Oh boy. See, this is why we had to light it up. I should have done this before I put in the covering. Oh boy. So many mobs. Oh, wow. Okay, that guy. Oh, no. Nope. I'm out of here. Oh boy. I almost didn't make it. Look at that. I was down to 1 heart. This is why I needed to light it up. But we are going to get the rest of the torches placed, and then we won't have to worry about all of these mobs. Well, it doesn't look like much, but after about 6 hours, the terrain is at the level where it needs to be, and you can see already the outline for the build that is going to go here. And I think after the build is completed, I might make some more changes to the terrain. This is mostly just a rough draft of what I want to do. We have to fill it in, make it look like it's more lived in, and not have the trees all pushed back to where they are. But I think what I want to do is have some custom trees, and I still need to work on those. But not today, because the focus for today is getting the build completed, and the next thing that we need to do for that is go collect 88,000 blocks. That should be relatively easy, right? I mean, I wasn't being very serious about that. It's going to take a lot of work to get all of these resources. We are going to need almost 200 stacks of tough blocks. We are going to need almost 200 stacks of quartz blocks, and we are going to need about 120 blocks of deep slate. Let's get these resources collected up. So I think we are going to start by smelting up some quartz, and by some quartz I mean 108 stacks worth. Let's get the furnaces fired up. And while that is started, we should also get some coal to load into the furnaces as well. While the quartz is getting smelted up, we are also going to get started with collecting the tuff. Now for the tuff, I need almost 200 stacks, and as you can see right here from my tuff chest, I don't have that. So let's collect up 8 of these shulker boxes and head down into the mines to mine up some tuff. Although we are on a server with a shopping district, let's go see if there's any that we can buy. Let's see. Oh, look at this. There is so much tuff. All right, let's buy it. It's going to be 2 stacks for a diamond. I can do that. Let's get this, put that in the shulker box over here, and take this, put that in the shulker box over here. And then we can just leave our diamonds, which will be about 27 diamonds. There we go. Perfect. Now we only need to get 6 shulker boxes worth of tuff, which I've now gathered up right here. And you can see down here where I went through and collected it from all of the exposed areas. There are a bunch of holes down here now. So we now have the quartz, we now have the tuff, and my storage system already had the cobble deep slate. We should be all set for those. But even though those 3 are the main blocks that we are going to be using, they only make up about 1/3 of the blocks that we need. Let's get the rest. So while I gather up those resources, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my plans for my base. Because originally the idea was to build a city in between all of the mountains here, and I've talked about that as recently as the last episode. But since then, while I was working on designing the building that we are going to do today, I've changed my mind about what I want to do. And the main reason for that is because we are already building a city over on my single player series, and I thought if I did a city here, we are going to be doing a lot of the same things, which would not be very interesting. So instead, I think what we are going to do is focus on details. And so with the build that we have today, the exterior is going to be very detailed. We are then going to work on getting the interior very detailed. And then once the exterior and the interior are done, we can focus on the area around the build. So we can do different types of terraforming, add a bunch of trees and flowers, and just otherwise make it very interesting to look at. So we now have everything collected up and in these shulker boxes. Over here, we've got the deep slate and tuff and quartz. Down here are some of the other blocks that we were collecting. So we've got a bunch of stone blocks. We've got some terracotta right here, both green and cyan. Let's see, there it is. And then we've got iron bars. We've also got acacia wood, trapdoors, whole bunch of stuff. But now that we have everything gathered up, it's time to get started with the building. So let's get going. Now that we have the build all completed, let's take a look at some of the details that went into it. The first detail that I wanted to take a look at is the glass that was used for the windows, because the color of glass here is different than the color of the glass here. And I used two different colors because of the trapdoors that I put in behind the glass to sort of simulate having individual glass panes. Because they are very yellow, I found that the cyan glass was the best to keep the color consistent between these two parts here. And if you zoom in, you can see in the corners where those two different colors kind of show through. But from a distance, it doesn't stand out. Another detail that I think turned out really well are the flying buttresses that I used on this side here, which has been something that I have tried many times to create, and this is the first time that I'm actually happy with the end result. The last detail that I wanted to highlight was the gradient in the roof, which goes from green to gray, and while we've used primarily green for the other roofs in this area, I thought if I used green here, it would have been overpowering because of how big this roof is. So the green to gray works really well. Now, you may have noticed from the time lapse that this area looked a little unfinished. And originally, I was going to put in a rooftop garden here, and that's why these squares are right here. There would be plants and different things growing. But one thing that I was thinking as I was building it was that this might actually work better as some skylights to light up the area down below. And I haven't quite figured out what I want to do on the interior yet, so rather than put in the garden and then take it out later, I'll just leave this open for now. But I think that is where we are going to leave it for today. I am really excited about this new direction that I'm going to be taking for this base, and I've got lots of ideas that I can't wait to get started on. But for now, if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And until next time, see you later.